If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high-quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah. This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Pauly Howard on VSiN.
Tonight on paper is an awesome night in sports. Obviously a loaded baseball card, NHL playoffs with 4 games, 4 in the association as well. And we go out to the Progressive guest line to begin this hour. We head to the Garden, where our next guest is pulling up to right now. Brian Mahoney does a great job covering the NBA, has for many years for the Associated Press, and takes a couple of minutes, kind enough to take a couple of minutes here before tip time tonight. What's up, Brian? Thanks for the time today.
Hey, how are you guys?
Good, buddy.
Doing really well. Let's begin here. Like Pauly and I wanted nothing to do with the Heat last night. I can't make a case for the Bucks. They could get blown out in their game tonight against the Pacers. However, this Pistons team, Brian, as you've seen up close and personal now several times this year, they are young, they are feisty, they're hungry, and I think that they're going to be in this game pretty much the entire way tonight. Would you agree with that?
I absolutely would, Mitch. I mean, the Knicks may close it out, but, you know, by this point in the series, a lot of times you can tell either one team is definitely better or maybe one team sort of has had their heart taken away. And, you know, it's going to be finished. But right now, I don't think that's the case in this series. I think the Pistons still think they can win. They probably should have won at least one of the games they lost. Mm-hmm. So I absolutely think they feel like they can get a win at the Garden, and if they have to, 2 wins at the Garden, and see if they can get this thing back home and still win this. So I expect a good fight tonight.
Absolutely. Are they still complaining about the no call, and what did you think about the no call with Hart and Hardaway?
Yeah, that was too bad. I mean, I'm sure it's behind him now. Nothing they can do about it at this point. But, you know, it's a tough one not to get, obviously, in that situation. You know, it was a pretty clear foul once you saw it again. You know, live, unfortunately, sometimes those get missed, and it did. But, you know, when you go back and you see it, you wonder why it didn't get called. So, tough break for the Pistons. They obviously, you know, feel like they should have gotten it, and it turns out they should have.
Well, I think we're on the same page, though, with this, too. And I'll tie it into what happened last night in a second, though. But if you're going to let everything go for the entire game and the entire series and then call that would be troubling to me if I was a Knicks fan or a player. Plus, I think the fans were kind of sick of, you know, like what you said. Remember the Harden and the Trae Young stuff with the hunting and jumping in the foul hunting and what was going on for so many years?
Well, that's exactly part of the problem, Pauly. I mean, the NBA referees have been taught kind of to give a second look at that three-point foul now because of Harden, you know, Reggie Miller years gone by, Trae Young. So, you know, a lot of times now they're not giving that foul the way they used to. They're making sure that the guy kick his leg out and create the contact. So it's not a natural call anymore that it used to be. And, again, this one should have been called, but you can understand why they didn't call it because they've been trained not to fall for it.
Mm-hmm. What do you think so far of the officiating? They're letting a lot of stuff go. They're not calling free throws, not a lot of trips to the free throw line. It's been a different sport, a lot of physicality, especially in this series. But then you saw what happened last night, and Brooks puts his hand on the hip or stomach of Butler, and they call a foul shooting a three.
Yeah, and that's another one. I can understand why people got mad about it because so much other stuff that looks worse is being let go. Yeah. It was clearly a foul. I mean, you got to call it, I think. But, again, I can understand why because some of this stuff is getting let go. I don't think they can call it all game long because there's been so much, as you said, it looks like a different game than a regular season. Mm-hmm. There's so much contact now that was not happening during the games in, you know, the first 82 that if they called all these, we'd be here all night. So it's a problem they're trying to work their way through.
What kind of game do we get out of Karl Anthony Towns tonight, in your opinion, Brian? When you go back and look at the first 2 games at the Garden, he only shot a combined 5 threes, made one of them. Since then, in the 2 games at Detroit, he was a totally different player. He took 15, he made 9 of them, and he scored 58 points. Are we going to get that aggressive cat, I should say, and shooting a lot from downtown tonight?
I think so, and that's obviously been the thing that changed this series the most. When we got out of here in game 2 and he only took a few shots, scored 10 points, I'm saying, I think he sort of even had to himself adjust to playing in the playoffs with Jalen Brunson. I think he was a little too passive, letting Brunson do too much of the work. And then when he went to Detroit, he changed that. He was aggressive. He needs to play that way. If he does, then you're talking about a great 1-2 punch, which is what they expected to have all along.
Okay, great point, because that was my problem in the first game. It was too much standing around an ISO ball and looking at Brunson. Is that more on Brunson? And he has to get everyone involved, or should the other guys be more aggressive? Because this offense should be better. They have 4 good guys. OG didn't get a lot of shots in game 2, and either did Bridges.
No, and it's a trap they fell into, and to their credit, they worked their way out of it in the games in Detroit. Brunson is such a reliable guy from the fourth quarter, put the ball in his hands, that sometimes, look, even teams that have a good offenses get caught watching, and the Knicks did for sure in game 2. And, this is a team who their offense is they're not a typical Tom Thibodeau team. They built themselves to be offensive a little bit, going out and getting Karl-Anthony Towns. So they got to put points on the board to win. And, I think they figured out something. Let's see if Detroit has figured out how to counter it tonight.
Yeah, in the NBA playoffs, these teams need the others to show up, if they want to advance and win these series. What are we going to get from the others tonight from the Pistons on the road? I need more out of Malik Beasley.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think they should feel good about the way he sort of finished game 4. He did hit a couple in the fourth quarter. He has not been the Knicks killer he was in the regular season. So if he carries that confidence into this game and it still is making him, then because that's been the one thing I think that they counted on that they haven't gotten as much. They've gotten more from probably Tobias Harris than they would have hoped. Tim Hardaway has been, for the most part, pretty good, but Beasley hasn't been the guy he was in the regular season.
I don't mind Schroeder either. I mean, this guy just jumps around from team to team, and when I need a bucket late, he can knock down a 3 or get to the hoop.
He's a super confident player. He's a big game player. The problem is Brunson was attacking him in the fourth quarter. So, it's you got to take the good with the bad if you're the Pistons there.
So plus 5.5 tonight. You think the Pistons can keep it close?
I do think they keep it close. I think the Knicks win the game tonight. The Knicks last year in this very same spot against Philadelphia lost the closeout game. I think they learned something from that. And, I think they will put it away tonight. But again, I think the Pistons, this is not going to be like Miami last night. I think the Pistons will put up a great fight.
Agreed. So if that happens in that scenario then, and the Knicks advance, they win the series 4-1. Celtics are in action again tonight as well. If they win, then those two teams obviously are going to meet. How much do you think the regular season will matter? Because it was not close, Brian, as you saw in all those games. I mean, the Celtics absolutely dominated the Knicks.
Yeah, they sure did, Mitch. The Knicks were close in the last one and went to overtime, but the first 3 were routes. And, look, the Knicks in that series, they have to be able to, Anunoby and Mikal Bridges have to be able to contain, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown or whichever guys gets hot, whether it's Holiday or Pritchard, whatever. And in the regular season, that did not happen. So if the Knicks can find a way to do that, then I give them a bit of a shot, but I'm not going to pick them for sure based on what we saw. The Celtics should be really confident about the way they controlled those first 3 games.
Thank you, my friend. Enjoy the game. Always good to talk to you.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thanks,
right.
Brian. There you go.
Heading into the Garden. It's our buddy Brian Mahoney on the Progressive Guest Line.
That's tells you the kind of guy he is, right? What is that like going into the Garden at right now 5:08 in New York?
You hear the traffic,
right? Of course, yes. He's like, "Hey guys, I'll talk to you for 5, 6, 7 minutes."
Oh man,
yeah. How would you do in that situation, Pauly?
No good.
Yeah, no. Oh God,
I couldn't believe it with the cabbies and everyone driving like a bunch of crazies. Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay, so then Brunson tonight, you got to feel good about, again, him scoring 30-plus points.
I told you the rickshaw story in Times Square, didn't I?
Yeah, go ahead. Tell the audience.
We were staying at the...
Rusty?
Rusty. The guy from White Lotus is in that episode, too. We were staying like a couple blocks, Lexington or something, wherever it was, or the street in Times Square, and we couldn't get a cab. And then you saw the guy with the rickshaw, and we said, okay, can we get a ride back? And it was less than 5 minutes. And he goes, okay, that'll be $180.
What?
I said, what? And he pulls out the card. And he's like, yeah, well, you got 2 passengers. And then it was 5 minutes. And I go in to complain. was a Waldorf Astoria. That's where we were staying. I couldn't think of it. And we go in and we complain. Like, yeah, the mayor's trying to do something about it. It's out of control. But that's, I mean,
So they
I
could
guess
charge
he didn't
whatever
have
they
to pay
wanted
them.
to.
Yeah. He goes $180. I go, it was 5 minutes. What are you doing? He pulls out this card. It tabulates and everything. And like, oh my God.
You can't fight the card, Pauly. Those are the prices.
I couldn't believe it.
You want to ride or no?
Yeah.
It's the Waldorf. Doesn't matter. You can go get a rickshaw anywhere. It's going to be the same number.
They did the same thing. They did the same thing out of Central Park when I proposed. I did the Rusty again. I took the
rickshaw?
I took the horse.
You're very romantic.
I proposed. That's when
Yeah.
I took the horse and buggy through Central Park.
Oh, that's awesome.
The same thing happened. The guy's like, okay, that'll be $80. I go, what?
Well, does it matter?
At
Your
that time,
your fiance then, or
I had closed the deal at that point. I was feeling good.
And she
but
just hit for $12 million.
Yeah, but you got to give me the price, though. You got to tell me what the price is on this
Numbers
stuff.
don't matter at that
You
point.
can't make it up.
Come on.
Oh,
You
my God.
got cachet up the yin-yang. You do whatever you want. She bought a house. You said that, what is she? As soon as she bought the house with cash, $100,000 in furniture the next day?
Yeah, no opinion, nothing. People coming over, home and entertainment system, no second opinion, everything. Debacle. Oh, man. It's terrible.
You missed the mom.
That pork ribs a couple months ago. That
did
was
you?
good.
Okay,
yeah, saw her. She misses me, too. It's too bad we couldn't get there.
Yeah, it sucks.
Tough beat. Tough beat, my friend. No, but, cool going into the Garden. And I made some good points about Detroit shouldn't be intimidated. And the fact that
They won't be.
They've won 3 times there. And suddenly that's not that tall of a task at 17, 18 to 1, right? To come back and win the series?
Well, again, if they win this one tonight, you got to feel pretty good about them going to a Game 7.
Yeah. Place will be rocking for Game 6 if that happens. Although organizations lost 9 in a row. Nope, don't have it.
All right, you can go.
Got it. I found it.
Okay.
Take VSiN with you anywhere, anytime. Become a VSiN Pro subscriber today. Stay connected to the action wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app. Available on your phone, tablet, smart TV. With the VSiN Watch app, 24/7 live access. Replays of your favorite shows. Big screen streaming. Quick access to clips by sport. Tailored to your interest. Watch VSiN anywhere. Download the app today.
We have props on props on props tonight across all the sports. We'll tell you what numbers popped to us here on Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
People love betting on props. Don't blame you. Right there with you. Love it as well. Got to look at it every single day. So we just talked about the Knicks and the Pistons with Brian Mahoney. A little bit more on this game again. Cunningham at plus 575 for a triple-double. I have not bet that yet. Is that a big enough number for you to maybe play it for a little bit?
Yes.
In the series, averaging 26, 9 boards, and 9 assists. Here's what I have played so far, Pauly. And I specifically asked Mahoney about this, if we're going to get the same cat or not tonight. He goes, yeah, I think we kind of have to, right? He has scored 27 and 31 points in back-to-back games, and he's combined to make 9 threes. I bet him earlier today on the alt markets, or in the alt markets, over 2.5 plus 240, over 3.5 plus 630 tonight. He made 5 and 4 in the last 2 games. So I'm going to war with Cat one more time tonight. I have not yet played Brunson, but 29.5 over is like minus 120, and he has scored 30 plus in every game. If it's a tight game late, what is he going to score in the fourth quarter? 10, 12 points?
How about the late game? Harden over 2.5 made threes. He's got to be aggressive. He's got to get it going. In game 3, was it game 3 or game 2? He did it in 90 seconds. He went over that, and for whatever reason, he wasn't aggressive and wasn't bombing threes in the last game.
I know.
So, but Harden, the temp should be there, and you think the guy should be able to go over 2.5 made threes in a huge game 5 tonight.
Well, what you said about the Clippers, though, earlier, right? Back of your head, you got to kind of have it there. It's the Clippers, man. They've been a disaster for their entire, existence.
So was Harden in these games, too.
So are you
unreliable?
Are you kind of afraid that he just kind of keeps passing the ball tonight. It doesn't take the big shot if it's required from him.
Well, explain what happened with Hero. I mean, he didn't have any attempts in game 3, and then last night he's 1 of 9 from 3. Well, there were no attempts in game 3. What are you doing?
I have no idea.
And he was 1 of 10, and he saw, I'm going to keep shooting.
Right.
Well, I'm 1 of 10. I'm going to keep shooting. But also, the Harden angle, though, too, is when they're trying to get the 2-for-1 at the end of quarters, because he always has the ball in his hand, and he's always looking at the clock, and he's going to take that quick 3 to get the 2-for-1. So the attempt should be there, and you think the guy could be able to knock down threes tonight, at least a couple of them.
Batum, I'm intrigued here. He is 6-1 over 1.5 made threes last 7 games, and there's a nice plus price on him tonight. He's averaging 22 minutes per game in this series, and he's also taking 6 threes per contest. He's shooting 43.5%. If he takes 6 tonight, I kind of like my chances a lot for him to go over 1.5 based on those numbers. And I did bet Joker triple-double plus 125. I have to do it. Porter's playing tonight. So if he was not in the game, I would not play it because that takes away one more weapon for him to get the assist with. I played it in the last game at a smaller number, and he was close. He's had 2 triple-doubles so far in this series, so at plus 125, I had to play it in this game tonight.
All right. I like Banchero over points, 29.5 for Orlando. He took 32 shots in the last game.
Oh, man.
Also got over there, but he's going to get plenty of shots, plenty of opportunities, and I think the Celtics are fine just saying, not that anyone can get involved anyways, but you go ahead and do your thing, and then even if it's a blowout, I think they keep him in, and he gets his looks and his shots, and they ran the cover play in Game 2 as well when they dumped it down to him, down 11. For the hockey, Kempe has gone over his shots on goal prop 14 of the last 15 playoff games against the Oilers. How strong is that? But they moved it to 3.5 now. So it is plus money, but do you want to go over 3.5 with Kempe? But over 2.5, 14-1 run in the playoffs against the Oilers. He is also minus 210 to have a point. I think he's plus $1.10 to have an assist. That's the way I'll attack it, in addition to Kings first period and Kings for the game tonight. But this guy is tied for the lead in playoff and points, and I think power play, whatever could come into play, is why the Kings are going to get it done, why they've been so potent on the power play. Edmonton taking silly penalties, and the fact that this guy, a 14-1 run here. Incredible. So if you want to take the plus money or lay the significant juice with 2.5, do with that what you want. Over 5.5 in the Devils-Carolina game.
You like the over tonight,
I do. We're on that sick run, though, with these overs. But again, it's all about, I think Carolina gets the first goal. Carolina's playing a backup goalie. And then in an elimination game, the goalie comes out, he stays out. So you have the empty net angle as well, and New Jersey with nothing to lose with the season on the line. Plus Markstrom been a little shaky, giving up a couple softies as well.
Okay,
so,
What do you make of this angle then? Mike sent this to this on X at VSiN Live and Mitch Moss Radio at Pauly Howard. If you want to look at some vultures tonight for the last goal of the game, he brought up the idea of Aho. He's 10-1 that I found for the last goal. So Aho has played 677 career games. He has scored an empty netter, according to StatMuse, 283 times. Is that possible? No, 283. Yeah. So in his career. Empty netters tonight. Aho 10-1 scored the last goal.
All right. Not bad. Problem is, could be another one behind it.
That could happen.
That's the problem.
90 seconds left, and then you get another one after that.
Toronto angle? I can't do it. I wouldn't be surprised if they lose. Plus 3 straight games have gone to overtime in this series. But the Toronto angle, you can go Matthews, Marner, and those guys to get the last goal, which figures to be an empty net as well.
Yeah, a correction there. Aho is 31 overall out of the 283 goals that he has scored in his career. So one way to approach it, I don't mind it. I know Jonathan Davis, NHL betting analyst here at VSiN, he's been betting that kind of stuff all year long. He was riding that with Ovechkin for a long time.
That was great.
Right? They wanted to get him the record, obviously, and he was scoring a goal seemingly every single night. And if it came down to an empty netter, they're going to get him on the ice. Hey, buddy, go out there and get another goal tonight. I
don't know what to do with the props in the first game, which goes in an hour, because it should be a blowout. Indiana, again, had 8 guys who scored at least 12 points in the last win. Freak is minus $5 to have the most points in the game. And his prop's 33.5, but also who helps him out, though? And who's going to be that other guy? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Siakam has a big game.
Sure.
But then you have to worry about the blowout angle. But when you look at the game leaders market, this really could be funky in terms of most threes and rebounds And we already saw Trent cash a big ticket as well because there's going to be plenty of opportunities because Freak's going to set you up. Is it Porter? Is it Trent? Is it Portis? I don't know. This one's and Lopez and Kuzma have done nothing.
What is Porter to score the most points in the game tonight?
30-1. Porter 30-1.
Porter, yes.
Yeah. Portis, same number. Trent 45.
Okay, let's.
Trent came through in points in a dead heat and threes in Game 3. Big tickets.
Let's go through this for a second here, because if this does turn, and I bet it like it's going to turn into a blowout tonight. If that's the case, at what point do the Bucks wave the white flag and Giannis just says, does he have that in him? He's ultra competitive. So, and he hates the Pacers.
Well, Doc would do the right thing.
You think so?
Doc would say that's enough.
So then, in terms of playing the backups in that scenario, and by the way, again, the usage tonight for Porter should be extremely high. Does he keep Porter in? Because there's an angle here where...
I know, he should, but he hasn't been.
He
was good in the last game.
So if the Pacers have 6-7 guys who go off again tonight, but they spread it around, and they're like the highest guy's 22 points, let's say, and maybe that's Siakam. Maybe in this scenario where there's no Dame, Porter has the ball in his hands a lot, takes a ton of shots, and he can go for 28 points. Yeah. Here's what I did, because
he averaged 10 a game, but then they put up a 15.5 on him, which is outrageous.
I know.
He's also 16-1 to have the most threes. He cashed last game 22-1. 4 will probably do it.
That could. Yeah, you're not going to have a ton of competition there from the Pacers. So we were asked to put together some best bets for the first round of the playoffs at vsin.com. I put out 2 props before the playoffs started. One was Luka to lead that series in rebounds at plus 650. He was 1 behind LeBron before the last game. Then he somehow had one, and LeBron had a dozen, so that's gone. The other one was Giannis to have 10-plus rebounds in every game of the series. It was plus 325, I think. So assuming the Pacers win this game tonight, he's had more than... If you happen to see that link and you bet it and you tailed me on that one, I'm playing it like this tonight. I bet under Giannis 12.5 rebounds at even money because there's a way here I can win both bets. Pacers win the game tonight. Giannis has 10, 11, or 12 rebounds. That prop cashes, and that wins tonight as well. So that's kind of what I'm rooting for here.
All right. You want to go Batum? Best bet, Batum, out of all these?
Well, there's so many there. I like a lot of them.
All right, whatever you want to go with.
How high are you on Kempe?
Very.
Then keep riding that.
I think. Well, I know, but I'm up to 3.5 though now. I think I'll just go to get him an assist and get a good price with an assist tonight. Kempe an assist. Best bets brought to you by G-Bank, official bank of VSiN. They're up in the ante with a $750 bonus with the new G-Bank Visa Signature Card customers. And new customers who spend $1,000 on eligible purchases within 90 days from account opening get a $250 bonus. And if you spend $50,000 on gaming and sports app loads within the 30 days of account opening, another bonus, potentially a $750 bonus. Apply now, vsin.com/GBank. Am I a sucker or what? Because now you got me down this road and thinking of the trip. I also went to the Empire State Building, and a guy comes in. He goes, it's $100, 2 tickets to go to the top and see a view of the city. I go, can that be right? And I look, there's a cop standing there. He goes, yeah, he just ripped you off. I go, you going to say something? He goes, I don't want to take food off his plate. Come on.
Hey, New Yorkers have each other's backs. Always, huh? You're some dummy from the Midwest.
They saw me. They got me 3 times on one trip, but there's no prices.
Thank God you had to leave early. Brad Powers on the program next. Landing spots he liked in the NFL draft and some win totals as well in college football.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We do have an NBA playoff game starting at the top of the hour. We'll get into that coming up in 15 minutes. Several bets on that game. Here, we head out to the Progressive guest line as professional sports bettor Brad Powers joins the program. Brad, good afternoon. Thanks for the time today. Been a minute. How are things?
Good. Thanks for having me. Those last 3 months flew by.
No kidding. Kickoff can't get here soon enough. So for those who don't know, Brad joins us every single week during the football season, big into college football. You live, eat, breathe this sport. Did you get involved at all this year in betting the NFL draft compared to maybe what you did in previous years?
No, this was the least amount of action that I've had on the draft in a decade. So I originated some but I always relied on other guys more often than not, and they took their volume way down. Obviously, I live in the state of Nevada, where let's be honest, FanDuel, DraftKings of the world aren't in this state, so it's you're not allowed to get much down as it is legally, at least. And I got a little soured on the draft a few years ago. I won't name the casino, but I made a few draft bets and they took the whole market down, never put it back up. And I was just like, what am I doing betting at 5 a.m, wasting all this time if they're going to, take it down after a $200 bet?
Yeah, no kidding. So landing spots then for some of these players, and that plays a big role into it, right? Like Ashton Genty in college was unbelievable. I'm not so sure I like the landing spot there with the Raiders, obviously, as most people really don't, because they're not really set up to have him thrive, I don't think, in year one with that offensive line and other parts around him. Did you love anything from a college guy that you thought was going to be awesome, depending on the landing spot, and then it worked out that way?
I like the Falcons draft. I thought they drafted a lot of very productive multiple year starter players, like an Xavier Watts in the 3rd round. I thought was a steal. I think generally speaking, the teams that generally do well in the draft did well again. I'll use the Ravens and the Eagles. It's not like they're ever drafting in the top 5. They're normally in the 20s. And it's not like they have some secret formula where they got some, scouting thing with small schools, FCS or G5 schools where they find diamonds in the rough. No, they basically draft guys that play at the highest level of college football, particularly the SEC, multiple year starters. So, the Ravens go and get a guy like Malachi Starks that started day 1 on Georgia's defense, even as a true freshman. Great pick there in the 20s. And then obviously, you look at the Eagles, we've seen tweets of who they basically draft Georgia and Alabama defensive players. They got Jahad Campbell, a top 15 talent, had a little bit of injury concerns, but here we go. The Eagles and Roseman, again, I thought hit it out of the park, just drafting guys that are highly productive from the Georgias and the Alabamas of the world. Keep it simple. I can't believe more franchises can't figure it out.
It's an incredible quarterback room in Cleveland. As our guest said, an island of misfit toys. What do you think the chances are that Gabriel can maybe move up the depth chart there, and your thoughts on the fit for Sanders?
I don't particularly like either Sanders or Gabriel. To me, like your odds that are up there, I do think Pickett probably is the guy that eventually starts. But I don't understand what they have there. What they have is a circus. Obviously, Sanders being a backup is going to bring a lot of eyeballs, and you don't necessarily want that from your backup. You already have the Watson issue. You got different styles of quarterbacks all across the board. Every single one of those guys is a different type of player. So I don't understand what's going on. I tweeted during the draft. If you looked at the reaction of the Sanders pick selection, just by reading the room a little bit there, it looked like it was a Jimmy Haslam pick.
Had to be.
Absolutely.
Totally agree with that. Yeah, and by the way,
why would you take I don't get taking Gabriel then. If you're going to take Sanders, yes. I don't get it then.
No. Total nonsense. Tony Rizzo came on the show yesterday. ESPN Cleveland said the same thing. He's like, it had to be. Guys, come on. They're not going to take Gabriel in the 3rd round, then come back 2 rounds later and say, oh, we love Sanders here. Great value pick. I'll tell you, though, I like the pick of Fannin, who was the most productive tight end in the history of college football. I like the pickup of the running backs. And I want to sit here and tell you, look, Fannin would be a great bet to me at like 200 to 1 to win Rookie of the Year. But who's going to get him the ball? Like, I don't know who the hell the quarterback's going to be.
I'm surprised we didn't talk about this before the segment started, but yeah, that was the one that I was interested in. Is Harold Fannin, Offensive Rookie of the Year, is the one bet after the draft that I was looking to get on.
Wow.
Number one, I know Tommy Rees, their new offensive coordinator, loves the tight end position. I think Michael Mayer a few years ago, led Notre Dame in receiving, likes to get the ball. Obviously, Fannin, I'm a big fan of. I know him because he went to my alma mater in Bowling Green. So, boy, if you can find 200 to 1, even with the terrible quarterback play, I do think he gets featured a lot, at least more than what that price says, 200 to 1 to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. So I do like that bet.
Okay, would you agree with this movement? R.J. Harvey, running back selected by the Denver Broncos. The first number I saw on him was 50 to 1, and people love the spot here for him. He's down to like 30 to 1. What do you make of that landing spot there?
Yeah, obviously the plug and play running backs, you want to get. He had a lot of tread left on the tires for him. It's not like the Ashton Genty can come in and maybe play right away. So yeah, I like him. He's an explosive player. that was a solid pickup for the Broncos.
The Bears go out. They get more skilled guys for Caleb Williams. What do you think of that? Now, Burden, who last year was like mocked, I don't know, top 10 according to everybody, dropped the receiver from Missouri. And then they have Loveland, the tight end, who, people were blown away by.
No excuses. I mean, he's got enough weapons to succeed. Well, we'll see if he's got the right coaching, offensive line. But Caleb Williams is not short on talent at the skill position. I like both those players quite a bit.
Okay. And one more here. Scatterboo to the Giants.
I love Scatterboo. Now, I mean, he going back to Sacramento State, again, for me, the running back, when you get to the next level, can you get to that second contract? I mean, even though I love Scatterboo, I mean, his usage rates was unbelievable in college. So, yeah, I mean, I think he can be highly productive the first 2-3 years, but after that, I don't know.
All right. Follow the money. Pauly and Mitch Veason, the Sports Betting Network. Brad Powers, our guest. Follow him on X at BradPower7, BradPowersports.com. You've been active? How about a couple win totals that you bet?
Oh, I've bet like 30 or 40 win totals already, so I've been super active. A couple that are still holding value. He's in the news, so let's talk about it. I'm fading the Belichick at North Carolina. Under 7.5. You can get plus money right now. I'm not in love with the roster. They went ahead and got a quarterback. I like Gio Lopez, but I don't like him necessarily to be a really good Power 4 starting quarterback, especially when he wasn't there in the spring. And that says a lot that they had to go out and get a starter post-spring, among others. I don't like the support staff, OC, DC, everybody that isn't very high on college experience. And let's face it, without Tom Brady, Belichick, as great of a defensive mind as he is, one of the greatest of all time on that side of the ball, is a below 500 coach. And we got a decade plus of a sample size. Without Tom Brady's below 500 at the NFL level, now you're a 70-plus-year-old guy coaching in college for the first time. And most importantly for me, a guy that has lived his whole career on the motto, no days off. He's at the beach. He's on 60 Minutes. I don't care who he's dating, but the fact that that's news and not, sticking his nose to the grindstone. Yeah. I'm fading North Carolina under 7.5 wins. Still holding value.
Well, the whole thing was bizarre, Brad. You go on 60 Minutes. They ask, how did you meet your girlfriend? And she steps in and says, don't answer that.
We're not talking about that.
I thought they met on an airplane. How can you not? They've been together for 6 months. How do you not at least come up with some answer by this point?
Absolutely. UCLA over? In light of the Nico news, what'd you make of that?
I did. I mean, depending on the number, I wouldn't play it now. I think it's 5.5. It was 4.5. So, I mean, and win makes it. I mean, win is everything. We're not talking a Major League Baseball season win total here. So, not playable now at 5.5.
What else you like? What else you hot and heavy on?
I think generally speaking, fading first-year coaches last 4 years since the portal's gotten very significant in college football. And this is against a midsummer number, like mid-July against a sharp book. You just blindly bet the under on every first-year coach. You're 56-42 the last 4 years. We're talking in April. So I'm guessing that number, if you're betting these first-year coaches in April, is even better than that. So one that I like West Virginia under 5.5. Normally when you fire a coach, it's because he underachieved. West Virginia last year played 13 games. They were favored in 3, won 6. And 2 of those favorite roles were by 1.5 points. So actually, I didn't think the previous coach did that bad. I like Rich Rod, but with 50 players in the transfer portal, entirely different roster, I don't see them getting a bowl under 5.5.
Yeah, that is awesome. About a minute left here. Any Heisman bets at this point, or is that too early for you?
No, I made a couple. Not too many spring games are televised anymore, but one. Devin Dampier of Utah from New Mexico. I bet 151 to win the Heisman. Right where you guys are at. I'm not big on betting the Heisman favorites, but believe it or not, I bet Arch 12-1 to win the Heisman. I like that number a lot. And specifically because if they beat Ohio State in the opener and Arch Manning has a big game, 12-1 is no longer going to be available. It's going to be more like 2-1 after one game.
12-1 still available right now?
No, I moved that number quite a bit. I had to actually drive down and see you guys. They wouldn't let me bet enough on the app, so I had to make an in-person bet there at Old Circa.
All right, very good. Brad, that was awesome. Thanks for the time today. We appreciate that.
Hey, take care, guys. Thanks for having me.
There you go. Great follow on X as well, at BradPower7, BradPowersports.com. Join us on the Progressive Guest Line. I was going to say 12-1 on Arch. I think you have to take a little bit of that. NBA playoff game, Pauly, starting coming up in about 20 minutes. We have several bets on the game. We'll discuss next.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
NBA playoff game starting in 15 minutes. What do you think of that? Pacers at home, Game 5 to the Bucks, and the screen is moving as we speak. During the break, there was one book showing the Pacers at 7.5. Every other spot was 8.5. That book, looks like BetMGM, just moved to 8.5 on the Pacers. And ESPN bet also at 8.5. Trying to see if there's some global shops out there. And the total is, the total is as low as 221 right now at Caesars, 222.5 at BetMGM. I have several bets on this game, Pauly.
The more I think about it, you want to continue? What you going to?
Go ahead.
I was going to say it makes sense for Trent over 2.5 made threes. The more I think about it.
He's going to go bombs away.
Bombs away, assuming the role of Lillard, too, when he went off in Game 3. I think someone's got to come out and take the heat off Giannis and get someone involved early. And I don't know what he's going to do with the Porter minutes, although Porter is 16-1. Most threes for the game, as we mentioned, and cashed the last game 22-1. I think over 2.5 made threes for Trent's the way to go.
So professional sports bettor Aaron Renning has coined the phrase, when he bets a game like several ways, he has called it, I'm going around the world tonight, guys. And that's what I did tonight with the Pacers. When you go back and look so far at the series and how this has played out, I mean, it's really not close. I mean, the Bucks are not close to the Pacers, right?
No, especially when the starters are on the floor.
They're exactly right. So the first quarter scores in the four games, 33-25, 40-30, 26 apiece, and 30-24. There's one tie. Pacers were leading by some big scores here at the end of the first and every other game. First half scores. 67-43 in Game 1. 68-60 in Game 2. Then 57-47 and 63-52. The Pacers were leading by a minimum of 8 in every game. The three other games were a double-digit lead, and that one obviously was 24 points. I played first quarter Pacers tonight minus 2.5, minus a nickel. I played the Pacers first half tonight minus 4.5, minus a nickel, and I played them 7.5 for the game. With the Dame injury, how they were deflated, letting go of the rope was talked about after the game. Doc Rivers stinks.
Demoralized, yep.
For sure. The roster is no good anyway outside of Giannis for the most part. They have some other decent parts, but that's it. Indiana's played, and they have been now for months. They're playing as if they're one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong in this game tonight. But I had to bet the Pacers every which way but loose.
Yep. Can't stop them. So much confidence. Know they can get whatever look they wanted. 80 points off uncontested looks in the last game, and 8 different players scored 12 points.
I'm just hoping the Pacers are not too cocky or arrogant tonight, like the game might be over with already. I hope they come out like the Cavaliers did last night. We're not going to screw around.
That's why they have to do that. And get ready for that series this weekend.
Yeah.
Because Cleveland's already got the broom out.
Yep.
Don't mess around. The other thing is, you're tempting the basketball gods, too. You screw around, someone can get hurt. Next thing you know, we got a series. The longer you play, you open yourself up to stupid injuries or something that could happen, or fluke injuries, right?
Sure.
And I'll tell you, if you ever want to lay, it's down to 390 now. You got to bet 390 to win 100. Most points freak. Indiana's so balanced, and his prop is 33.5. The only thing,
you're going to have to hope for a competitive game.
I still think he'll cash that, though. It's an elimination game. How early would Doc pull him?
Middle third quarter?
Oh, come on.
No, you wouldn't do that?
No.
So end of the third quarter?
Even if are they down? It'd have to be like a Miami repeat.
That's what I'm hoping for tonight. Yeah.
I know, but I think they can keep it within 20 or 25 in the third quarter, though. But that's I just can't see. Now he went to 420. I just can't see how his prop is 33.5, and he gets whatever he wants without any help. Even if he gets 30, like who's gonna score 30 on Indiana?
That seems unlikely. And then will another Bucks player, will Trent go for 30 again tonight?
No.
I don't think
That'd be a lot of shots.
The only other guy who could go for 30 in like the crazy scenario now that we're talking about would be Porter, right? Because he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. In theory, under this scenario, right? Sure, and he takes 26 shots tonight, and he happens to have a blazing hot game, and he goes to the free throw line and he plays. Doc plays him for like 38 minutes. So based on my bets, hopefully we can have one that's a winner here during our show at the end of the first quarter.
Carlisle will not allow the complacency to set in either.
Oh, that's a good point.
There's no way. He's a good coach.
Yeah, he really is. I also want the Pacers to blow out the Bucks because I want somebody to ask Doc. Remember when you said you were feeling pretty confident after you were down 2-0? Yeah. And you were getting or 0-2, you were getting absolutely blasted at that point?
Well, he's not afraid to make excuses, though. He might.
He will.
He might point to
he will.
Dame injury and everything going wrong. I like first half, halftime, full time with Indiana, which pays $1.90 on DraftKings as well. It has all the makings here of an easy win for the Pacers. It's a tough racket, but I just think I'm with you. It has blowout written all over it.
Yeah, let's hope we get there then. And I also then think, because you have the Pacers at 19-1 to win the East, I think the Pacers-Cavs is kind of the nuts.
Should be entertaining.
Isn't that a great series?
High scoring, yes. Yep.
I set the total at game one. I'll just throw a number out there. I set it at 238. What do you do with it?
Well, they've been better defensively since the new year.
It's also playoff basketball.
So, yeah, and the pace comes down. Yeah, that's a little bit high.
Do I? Okay.
Yeah.
I just threw a number out there. I wanted to go kind of high because if I said 226, it's an autoplay to the over.
But there's so much offensive firepower in that game.
Oh, God, yeah, absolutely.
You don't even have Garland. You don't even miss him. How many guys that can score? And you're talking about the number one offense in the league with Cleveland. Yep.
So those are my bets, and you threw out the one there, halftime, full-time. So did you eventually bet Trent then to go over 2.5 threes?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know what to do with Porter because Porter's inflated with his number now. I mean,
super inflated.
Yeah, guy averages 10 a game. They put up a 15.5, 14.5 on him now too. Even though he was solid in the last game, but the unknown is Doc Rivers about how much run and how many minutes he's going to give him. And Lopez and Kuzma have been terrible. That's another thing. So Kuzma was a little bit aggressive in game 2 after the no-show in game 1, and I don't know what to do with Portis, and he might play a little Rollins tonight too, it sounds like.
Yeah, okay.
He might mix him in there as well. And then the Knicks, you're all about Cat. I'm with you that it's got to be more, he's got to be aggressive. Brunson's got to get him involved, and how they played in Detroit was how that Knicks team should operate. More shots for OG, spread it around, get Bridges involved as well. I would hope he get Bridges involved. You can't give up 5 picks for the guy, and he's just standing there and doing nothing. But you got to get all 4 of these guys going if you have any chance to keep it competitive against the Celtics as well.
Karl Anthony Towns, last couple of games, he has scored 27 and 31 back-to-back here in this series. He combined to make 9 threes. Prop tonight, I bet over 2.5 plus 240 and over 3.5 at plus 630. I also am intrigued by taking the Pistons. I did in the Killer Sports Challenge at vsin.com. A couple of reasons why. One, I do really feel like this team is that they're going to be feisty and they're going to go down with a fight big time. They also, when you look at the numbers, they were outscored by the Knicks 40-21 in the fourth quarter of game 1. If you take that quarter away, the Pistons have a plus 11 scoring differential in the series, and yet they are down 3-1. That's insane. Also, maybe getting involved tonight, halftime adjustments so far. The Pistons' third quarter, game by game, they are plus 10, plus 2, plus 3, and plus 14. That's how many points they outscored the Knicks by in all 4 of these games. And that equals 29, plus 29 for the series so far. So they're making the great adjustments here. And, a third quarter number might make sense. You can actually bet that's a pregame as well. But the Knicks have had 2 really good fourth quarters so far in the series, and that's why they have a 3-1 lead. Brunson, I haven't bet it yet. It's a high number. That's part of the reason why. 29.5 points. But again, if this is going to be a tight game, which I believe it's going to be, he won the Clutch Player of the Year award for a reason. So he's going to, if this guy has 20 points going into the fourth quarter and he scores a dozen late in a tight game, I would not be surprised for a second. And he has scored 30-plus points in all 4 games so far this year. I thought for sure his prop was going to be 30.5, even juiced over. It wasn't. It's 29.5, like over 20 cents. Maybe I should be betting it then.
You got an update on Brown?
Second, I'll get one.
Want to know where the money's really going? Unlike other sources, our splits come straight from Circa and DraftKings, giving you insight on where the sharp action's landing. Circa's known for taking big bets from pro bettors, while DraftKings provides a broader market perspective. You're getting the real action, not just the public money, but the kind of wagers that move lines. See the percentage of bets versus percentage of handle on every game across every major sport, helping you make smarter, more informed bets. Get the summer special right now, $59 through August 1st. Incredible deal. Every best bet, every host, every guest. VSiN.com/subscribe. $59 through August 1st. He was a game-time decision. The line hasn't moved.
No news on him right now.
Holiday is out. Total of 198.5.
My guess is we might not have news on Brown by the end of the show coming up in an hour.
Yeah, 5:30 tip.
That tip time at 8:30 Eastern time?
Yeah.
Seems maybe a little bit unlikely. All right. Is there a coach that you would look at if you were the Bucks after this year? You can't possibly be serious and bring Doc Rivers back. Or does it not matter? Because the team without Lillard next year, thinking that he's going to be out for the entire time, they have no chance.
Malone's out there.
Yeah.
Just won a title.
I think he's going to have a good landing spot.
I don't think he wants that job, though. It's a bad job now.
It's a terrible job.
And the superstar might, I say, get me out of here.
All right. Also, we have Major League Baseball games starting in about the next 15 minutes. I think we have a banger on the card later tonight as well. We'll get into all the numbers here and Follow the Money. It's VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
If you work in quality control at a candy factory, you know strict safety regulations come with the job. It's why you partner with Grainger. Grainger helps you find the high quality and compliant products your business needs to inspect, detect, and help correct issues. And the sweetest part is, everyone gets a product that's as safe to eat as it is delicious. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.